welcome to episode 4 of our podcast. Last episode, we talked about how Jesus handled friendships and kind of what his definition of friendship was. And this podcast, we're going to be talking about
discernment and isolation, and what that means to God, and what's the boundary between isolating yourself too much and not enough from certain situations. So,
first question, have you ever used protecting my peace as an excuse to avoid difficult situations?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
But I don't think it lasts that long. It's an excuse. An excuse is never a way out of anything. So yes, I've definitely used, I don't need to have this conversation because I'm protecting my peace and it's going to be better for me. And I think that that's never necessarily the case, because God doesn't want us to live in, we think the light's flickering. Oh, never mind. God doesn't want us to live in fear, and it's you may be protecting your peace for the time being, but it's ignoring something never makes something go away.
Yeah, and I think we use that protecting my peace just to avoid confrontation, or
100%.
or just avoid being vulnerable.
100%.
And yeah, I do that. Literally, we were talking about this last episode, how in difficult situations I just kind of push it away until I
it
can't
explodes.
anymore.
Yeah,
that's how I kind of deal with things, which I'm working on, because I know that's really not
healthy,
but that's what I do. And so I've definitely experienced the
I also think that protecting the example of protecting my peace, I don't think that's biblical at all. God doesn't, that's almost just a selfish excuse to get out of something. Oh, I don't want to deal with it right now, so you can word it as, I'm protecting my peace, as a healthier excuse than saying I don't want to deal with this. Avoiding your problem. Protecting your peace is just avoiding the problem at hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think is a better way of putting it. And I think everyone's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Kylie's guilty of it. I think that I don't know one person in my life that hasn't done this at least once in their life when something's been difficult. Or I'll do it even at school. If I know I have a bad grade in a class, I'll be oh, I don't need to check it. Or I'm just protecting my peace right now. I don't need to deal with it right now. Or someone might have a problem with you, but you don't really want to say anything about it because you're what good is it going to do? You kind of psych yourself out till you give yourself another excuse on why you shouldn't do something. What if they don't react the way I want them to? What if it blows up in my face? It's just an endless cycle of what ifs.
Yeah, I totally think that's all true, what you said. I don't even think I really need to add anything else.
Yeah.
And
I think that someone also doesn't, I think there should be a reason for someone not to like you, but which is fine, but it's there doesn't need to be a reason for someone not to be around you, really. You have the free will and the ability to be around who you please. I think it's just how you act with the people that you don't surround yourself around. How you speak about them, how you talk about them, kind of the person you perceive them to be without actually getting to know them. Because I know I'm guilty of this. I'll judge someone for things they've done to other people without even getting to know them. And I've already predetermined that I don't like them just based off what someone else told me. But I think that's not a healthy way to look at it. And I think that could be another way of protecting your peace is you've already predetermined what's going to happen. So it's you don't need to get to know that person any further.
Yeah.
You can just decide that you don't want to know them. You can talk however you want about them, because it's you're not close to them, so it doesn't matter. But it's what you say, whether you're close to someone or not, always matters.
Yeah, and I think the verse that kind of talks about that is Hebrews 10:24 and 25. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day draw near. We're not supposed to we're not supposed to be avoidant. We're supposed to have
we're supposed to acknowledge what's wrong.
Yeah.
And kind of like take accountability.
Yeah, that's
because I think protecting your peace is not taking accountability for your own actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like, oh, everything's fine. I didn't do anything wrong in this situation, so I'm not gonna bring it up. Because then if I bring it up, maybe I'll find out something I did do wrong.
Yeah, but we're called to like come together and solve problems.
But you're called to like
the verse says,
like Hebrews 10:25.
We're supposed to come together and like work on our problems, and
which also I feel like I'm really enjoying like these conversations we're having in our podcast because I feel like they're gonna help us in our future too. Like not just with like this goes with I think it's more like relationships in general because if you're dating someone, you could not want to bring something up because you're like, oh, I don't want to cause a fight or I don't want to do this, but it's like you're just being selfish because there's two sides to a story, and it's like always like this is a physics term, so don't hate me if I say it wrong, but like for every action there's always going to be a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not a physics term, but but it's kind of like that happens like every time you do something in any relationship, it's going to affect the other person if they truly care about you.
Yeah. And when we're like isolating ourselves from someone or like just being avoidant, I think we definitely kind of just feed into our own like selfish intents, and like we just definitely think about ourselves so much more than the other person.
Yourself to like
putting yourself in the other person's shoes, even though that's like said so much, like,
but it's so true.
It's so true because like I mean they're human too, just like you, and
it's like I've had to do that as well. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of times where I'm like I don't see the wrong in my actions, but when someone's like, do you understand why I'm upset? And I'll probably at first be like, no, because I didn't get it or I wouldn't have done it. Because it's like you don't, usually if you care about someone, you're not doing those actions to hurt them on purpose. It's usually like you're just not thinking about it, which is selfish. So it's like when there's situations where they bring it up to you and you're like, shoot, like I was doing that, and if they were doing that to me, I'd be pissed. I'd be very upset, and like I would feel that way too. Yeah,
and to like relate this again, another passage if you want to look it up, Proverbs 18:1-2. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desires. He breaks out against all sound judgment. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his own opinion.
And I think we can like move on to relate that to one of our next questions, where it's like, why does hyper independence feel strong but sometimes produce loneliness? I think that learning to be independent is a very healthy thing, but I think when it comes to like separating yourself from those around you that could be lifting you up, it becomes a negative thing. Like you're not meant to live life alone. Like you are meant to like live life with others and like have others like build you up. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
So, I can relate to this because it's like, I feel like when I'm upset, I tend to separate myself. And, I tend to separate myself a lot.
Okay.
And, like, when I'm sad, I tend to, like, kind of separate myself from others because, I don't know, like, I feel like that's just, like, a natural habit. If I'm upset, I'm not very good at hiding it, so it's like I wouldn't want to be around others and have everyone just see how upset I am, which can produce, like, loneliness.
I also think when, like, you're mad at someone and...
Like me, or, like, in general?
No.
Oh.
In general, if you're mad at someone, like, you're gonna go to your other friends, and, like, most friends will probably just, like, agree with what you're saying, and, like, that honestly, like...
is not always the healthiest.
That's hyper-independence, and, like, it makes you feel very strong, because you're just going to be expressing your side of the story, and, like...
Yeah.
Like, not even...
There's no, like...
You're isolating yourself.
Other view.
Yeah, there's no other view, and you're just telling your other friends, like, this is what is happening.
Yeah. Okay. This, I think, is a very good question. The next one we'll move on to. Can someone grow spiritually without accountability? I think not.
Can someone grow spiritually without accountability?
I think not.
No.
Because if you're not accountable for your own sins and for your own actions, like, I would never grow.
I think, honestly, like,
I would never grow in my faith in God, and, like, if I wasn't aware of the things I was saying, like, cursing, for example, like, I used to curse all the time, and that's not a good way to represent your faith. And it's, like, I think that, like, if someone didn't kind of remind me of why that isn't a good representation of your faith, and, like, how that can affect how others see you, and, like, how others, I don't think people are going to trust me discipling to others and trust me sharing the word of God if that's how I spoke.
Yeah. Well,
And
I think that's, like, the, like...
And that's just, like, one example, obviously.
A way can someone grow spiritually without accountability? Even, like, in life, like, taking out the spiritual part, I don't even think you could grow in life.
In general without
like,
accountability.
Accountability is huge. I mean, even, like, the way to get to heaven is you take accountability.
Yeah.
You're like, I sinned. And
like
God,
I repent to God.
I repent to God.
Yeah.
And let Him take away those. Like, you have to be accountable for
or you're not,
the bad things you've done. And, like...
Or, and, like, you shouldn't justify your actions. There's no justability to your sin. The only thing that would almost be, like, justifiable is, like, if... I don't even think anything would be justifiable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think any sin would be justifiable?
No.
Like, I don't know.
I don't think it'd be a sin if it's justifiable.
Exactly, yeah.
Like...
Or, like, how God... Okay, well, this is kind of a sin, but this is... God says it's okay under these circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God calls you not to get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
God does not want one to separate under certain circumstances.
Yes.
Obviously.
I think that's God really just saying, like, be careful who you marry and, like, make sure they are, like, the leader of the faith and, like, leader of the household and, like, are a good example for the people around you. Your kids want to be a good father. Like, I honestly think God's saying, in my mind, when God says, like, don't get divorced, it's Him being like, you got to be careful who you marry, because, I mean, it's supposed to be a lifelong commitment. It's supposed to be someone you share everything with, and, like, how do you hear God's voice about friendships without confusing it with fear?
I think they kind of go hand in hand sometimes, because I think, like, if God's giving you, like, kind of a sign about a friend, like, this is how I'm taking it, about, like, a friendship you were having and how it's, like, affecting your life, that can cause a fear. Mm-hmm. And that can almost, like, trigger, like, the whole thing about, like, protecting your peace again, where it's, like, you won't, having conversations with those people does cause fear, and is scary, at least to me. Like, if God is, like, voicing to you that something is not healthy about a friendship, and it's, like, you kind of don't want to deal with it until, like, you have to, then I think that can cause a fear. I don't know if this is exactly what it's asking. What do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, I think God could put maybe doubts in your head about, like, some people and, like, how you're supposed to feel about people. Like, if you have a doubt about a relationship, like, maybe they don't have the same values as you, and that's your doubt. I think that could be God's voice. But, I mean, the only way to know it's God's voice is, like,
if you listen.
And, like, I mean, Satan's never gonna, like, whisper something in your ear that's good and true and, like, for God, and that brings goodness to His kingdom. So I think, like,
I also think that, like, Satan doesn't like the idea of the whole purpose that he kind of became who he was is because he couldn't be God.
Yeah.
And God had more power than him, and God had more abilities than him, and it's like, God has the ability to pave our future and to plan our future and knows exactly what's going to happen in our life. And Satan is just kind of like us in this way, where we are, like, on the same level as, like, we hate the unknowing. We hate the uncertain, and it's like, Satan doesn't like the idea that God knows that over us. And God, it has that power over us. So I feel like he tries to, like, meddle in the way of the plan that God is trying to show you, and kind of guide you in a different direction
Mm-hmm.
and be like, no, like, this is a good friendship, and, like, this is benefiting you, this is that, but it's, like, which I think could be confusing when it's, like, What about the idea that you don't need anyone but God? Do you feel that is biblical, or do you feel that is unhealthy?
I think that's unhealthy. Like, obviously, God should be, like, your main focal point of your life and, like, what all relationships should be, like, glorified to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, God, even Jesus, he had, like, he had Peter, James, and whoever the three, like, his three best friends. Like, he had, like, his three best friends, then the 12 disciples, then, like, he had, like, 70 other people, and then, like, all the others. But, like, he had people in his life. It's not even God. Like, even God has people in his life. Like,
he has his angels. Like, he's never alone.
Well, I was thinking Jesus, but, like, like, you can see that, like, I think a perfect representation that we're not supposed to be alone is Jesus. Like, he had people
Also,
always in his life.
I think the I don't need anyone but God contradicts with the fact that, like, you're not supposed to live life alone. Like, if Adam just needed Adam, and because Adam always had God, and say he didn't bring Eve into the world, then they probably would have never sinned. They would have never had all this happen, because it would have just been Adam and God for the rest of the lifetime. I don't know what would have happened if that was just the case, but it's like, even in that situation, God was like, you need someone else in your life, not just me. Like, you should be the focal point. I should be the focal point of your life, but it's like, you aren't meant to live life alone.
Yeah. You're supposed to have, like
it takes a village.
You're supposed to have, like, friendships and
yeah.
Well, even, like, if you look like your parents' lives, like, my mom has her best friend Jen, but she has my dad who, like, she talks to every day, but, like,
yeah, you still need, like, other people in your life.
You still,
because there's things you can't go to your husband. You'll be able to go to your husband about anything, but, like, it's more like the level of understanding.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to tell your husband everything, but your husband does not necessarily need to understand.
Yeah,
everything.
There's different things about, same things with guys. Guys should
have
guy friends to tell, like, stuff to, and, like...
Well, yeah, I'll tell my boyfriend things that, he'll be like, oh, why are you upset? And I'll be like, I don't know why I'm upset. And then he'll get, like, confused and think it's because of him, but it's like, then I could tell you the same thing, and you'd be like, what's wrong? And I'd be like, I don't know, and you would kind of be able to just drop it, because you know what that's like, because that's, like, your brain is built more emotionally than most guys.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, to wrap this up, like, I don't think God wants us to be alone and isolated. I think we're in the Church of Christ, we're supposed to, like, have community. Like, even in
there's
the church.
elders.
Well, yeah, and even in the church, you're supposed to have community with the people in your church and, like
it's a family.
Have a body of Christ. So I think, like, yeah, we're supposed to...
Protecting your peace is bad. It's just an excuse to kind of, like, validate your own poor doing. And God calls us not to do that.
Yeah, and to just go with him. Go to him.
Yeah, and, like, before going to, like, others about, kind of like what you were saying, if you're having a problem with someone, you're not really going to find the first solution by sharing that with another friend. Yeah,
that isn't gonna have good discernment and be like, Kylie, step into her shoes.
Yeah, if they're just gonna validate that everything you're doing is like, okay, you're just dandy, like that, you're not gonna grow. Because it's like, even if you aren't doing anything wrong, at least you'll be able to understand, like, from their point of view and, like, get a better understanding.
Thank you, guys.
Drop comments below. Just kidding.
See you later.
See you later.
You had a bunch of